Hi, Sirenas, how are we? You guys, I'm sorry I haven't been around. I have had a horrible cold and I've just like taken a few days off. But you guys are blowing up my inbox on Instagram asking for more videos. And so here I am. I've been sleeping all day. It's literally like 2 in the morning, but we're gonna film, we're gonna get it going. Got my notes here, so let's talk. Today I want to talk to you guys about the ugly side. The ugly side of having surgery here in the Dominican Republic, the ugly side of having plastic surgery here outside of your home country, outside of your familiar, culture and medical culture and all that kind of stuff. There's a few things that I want to talk to you about, and I'm not going to take like time getting into it. So let's just jump right in it. The first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is the lines. So one of the things that we're accustomed to in the States is a little bit more order. We're used to having appointments set. We're used to having to deal with maybe several other people at a specific time at our surgery centers or at our doctor's offices or whatever. Here, most of the time, most of the surgeons all work at a joint facility, meaning that they work at a bigger facility like a hospital. Even if it's a clinic and it's a small clinic, most of the time, these clinics, they don't work for the clinic. The doctors actually rent space within the clinic and use the clinic to service the patients. So what happens is that every surgeon has their own schedule, and so every surgeon is making appointments for people at that time. And so the lab, the x-ray, and things like that tend to get a little bit long. And of course, right, nobody seems to like to wait on lines. I mean, nobody. And so what ends up happening is that, of course, although we're all adults and things like that, people end up cutting the line. People take advantage of you not knowing the language. People take advantage of just trying to hurry up and maybe you didn't notice or whatever. And if you, if you don't notice, they'll take advantage and they can jump in front of you. So one of the things that I always suggest is to pay a lot of attention whether or not you have a pre-op companion. Most of my surgery patients go to the clinic with a pre-op companion because I like for you to have somebody to walk through pre-op with you. First of all, if you've never had surgery or if you've never been through a process like this, there's a lot that's involved between blood work, x-rays, knowing where to go from cardiology to pulmonology to maybe hematology or endocrinology, going from one lab to another. There's many times where you'll have to go to multiple locations to get your pre-op completed. So all of those things are things that, you've got to consider and you've got to keep in mind. It's a little bit different from here. You may be a little bit overwhelmed when you see it, a little overwhelmed when you realize the amount of people in one place. But if you work in a certain order and you keep yourself organized, that should not be a problem. Hundreds and hundreds of girls come through the city every single day for plastic surgery, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. So it doesn't seem to be too much of a deterrent, okay? The next thing, since we're already in the clinic and we're talking about the clinic, you guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be sniffling, but I have a cold. Let's just focus on the information. So when it comes to credit cards, debit cards, and cash. So debit cards are available for use in a lot of the major vendors like Faja stores, sometimes the supermarket, some doctor's offices. 90% of my doctors do not accept credit cards. I know like Tanya Medina, for example, does accept $2,000 on a credit card. Everything else does need to be in cash. So really depends on your provider. I would suggest for you to check in with your coordinator or to check in with me if I am your coordinator. If you don't have a coordinator, if you've self-coordinated, I would tell you to shoot a message to your doctor's assistant to get that information because it's very, very important. You need to know how to prepare. You can only fly with $10,000 cash. So I would always suggest to make whatever types of arrangements you can to try to prepay things if you can. Also, when you come here with cash, make sure that you don't convert all your American money into pesos because something happens here on a daily basis, which is called the exchange rate, and it changes every single day. So that basically means that the amount of the peso or the value of the peso every day changes based on what the value of the dollar is. So it may go up and it may go down. So you don't want to exchange all your money at once because you may lose money. You could make some money, a few cents here and there, but you could also lose a lot of money. So want to think about that, okay? Like I said though, but you can use People have this idea that you have to have cash everywhere. It's not that, but technology isn't readily available everywhere. Taxes are an issue, and so people prefer to receive cash here. Not only that, you're going to want to have cash on hand for certain things only because it makes things so much cheaper. When you use your credit card here in the Dominican Republic, you will get an 18% tax added onto whatever it is you've purchased. So like, for example, I'm from New York. I'm sorry, you guys. My eye is tearing. I'm twisted, but I'm here for y'all. In New York, the sales tax is like 8.25%. And so anything that you buy, they're adding 8% on top of. So figure if you're going to use your card here, they're going to charge 18% on top of it. Plus your bank is going to charge you an international fee for using your card internationally. But then they're also going to charge you an exchange rate. Because remember, they're going to pay in dollars and then they're going to exchange it into pesos and they're going to charge you the most expensive rate to do so. Also, when you're gonna go to the corner store or like get a juice or like something random, you don't want to be taking your card out. There's no reason why. For example, here I can get a soda, like a Coca-Cola, 12-ounce plastic bottle Coca-Cola for like a quarter. You use your card, it's gonna come out to like $2.50. Like it's ridiculous. So make sure that you have some cash on you. Keep those things in mind. If you have more questions about money, debit card, credit card use, whatever, just comment below. Make sure you let me know. I'll do more videos or I'll talk to you more about it. Another thing, there are many providers here in Santo Domingo. In fact, too many. So there's so many surgeons. So I would tell you, before you come here, make sure that you are working with a good team of people. Make sure that you've researched, that you've asked all your questions, that when you get here, you don't find out like nitty-gritty information that's not gonna make you comfortable. Because there's so many providers here that if you're not working with like a good coordinator or somebody that can really make sure you're safe, you run the risk of running into a surgeon who's willing to offer you a surgery for $2,000 or $3,000 just because they haven't operated for a week and they're willing to, bring their money down. Because there are so many surgeons. You guys know how many surgeons that you're aware of because of social media and things like that. The Tanya Medinas, the Doc Sanchez's, the Ibelis Bellows, the Natalie Bellows, the Cabrals of the world, right? These are big names that are out there. They've established themselves on social media, and so people know about them. But what about the guys that finished school 2-3 years ago that don't have a name, that are getting swallowed under the Instagram posts of these other doctors, right? But yet, because they're new, you don't know if they're certified, you don't know if they have depths, you don't know anything. You see a pretty office and you get taken by that, and or taken by somebody's word. And at the end of the day, you don't get what you want, you don't get what you expected. This is why I do this. This is why I have this video out, or these videos out, so that you guys have some type of a trust factor, or know that there is somebody that is genuinely advocating for you and is going to give you the information that most people won't give you. I give you information even when it doesn't benefit me, because at the end of the day, if something happens to you morally, the little bit of money or tip you might leave me for helping you is not enough for me to be able to sleep at night if God forbid something happens to you. So that's another thing. There's just too many services. With the fact that there's so many providers and so many service providers, not just surgeons, right? So recovery houses and different supply places, faja stores and things like that. There's so much price and service inconsistency. So researching is really important. Reviews are really important. But not only that, speaking to people that work here and are in the field and see it every day, because things change based on financial need a lot of time, culturally, prices change, things change, and also just in market and sales, right? Based on the time periods and the frames and a need, inflation and things like that happen. And so you want to know that, yeah, this is a legit price for a legit service, or I'm paying this price and people have been really unsatisfied, or I'm paying this price and it's a great deal. You really want to have an idea, and getting here and figuring all of that out when you don't have a trusted person is very, very difficult, because this is medical tourism. This is medical sales. These people do this all day, every day, and they're very good at it. Trust me. They're good at reading your signals, your silent signals, your verbal signals, your physical cues, all of that. Give me 2 seconds. I have to blow my nose, and I will be right back. Sorry, I'm back. I didn't lie. I told you guys I'm still not feeling great. So, the next thing that I want to talk to you about, right, since we've talked about service and price consistency, cash, credit cards, debit cards, we've talked about the lines in the clinic, we've talked about plastic surgery doctors, we've talked about all of that, right? Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is something that is pretty simple, pretty common, and should be pretty obvious, right? Okay, I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. All right, we only have like two more points to get through. So I was saying the language barrier. So the language barrier, right? I've traveled around the world. I've been to Egypt, Turkey. I've been to Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. I've been to Puerto Rico, Dominican. I've been to through the Caribbean and more, right? And most countries don't have a national language. And a lot of those countries that I even mentioned, most of them speak English. Guess what? The Dominican Republic, not so much. You will find people that do speak English, maybe not fluently, some fluently, but the majority of the people don't speak English. So when you're coming here, you need to make sure that you are prepared for that mentally and emotionally, because you need to understand that it may be a little bit frustrating. People won't understand you. It may be frustrating that you're going to need to use your Google Translate somewhere and not have a battery or not have Wi-Fi and it not work. A lot of those things. So again, I continue to stress to you why it's so important to work with somebody that you trust, somebody that's going to be readily available for you, not just until they get your deposit, but throughout, because this is serious, you know. However, you will find people that speak English here. So again, I don't want you to come here and think that you're going to get off the plane and that nobody's going to be able to take care of you, because obviously I'm here and there's so many other wonderful people here just like me. Okay. The last two things that I want to talk to you about are water. My eyes are tearing like crazy. So water here is not safe to drink, but it is safe to take a bath with. However, after surgery, you should not be bathing because you should not be wetting your incisions. If you are going to be bathing and wetting your incisions, they should be healed, dried, clean. And I would tell you to not use the local water. The local water here, based off of the Department of Sanitation here, states that the purification and lack of chlorine in the water is what makes it unsafe to drink. It is safe for body use, it is safe for partial cooking, but it is not safe for you to take a bath, like I said, post-operatively, especially when you have wounds exposed and things like that. You need to be really careful. So that goes to show you that there's a little bit of a lack of resources when it comes to certain things, especially vital things like water, right? But in the same breath, let's talk about electricity. Electricity is pretty stable in most areas. As you see, I have electricity in my house, we have electricity at the recovery home and things like that. Make sure that the provider you're going to be staying with, whether it's an Airbnb, a hotel, a recovery home, the surgery center, wherever you're going to be, ask these questions. Do you have a backup generator? Do you have backup power? If the electricity goes out, how long is it out for? You know, for example, here where I live, my recovery home is literally around the corner. It's about a block away. And we don't lose power here often. Sometimes it goes out. Like, for example, last month, it went out every day. Every single day for like 2 hours for about 9 days straight. But what happened? As soon as it goes out, we don't notice it, because as soon as it goes out, the system automatically kicks on our generators. And so we continue to have power, we continue to have refrigeration, Wi-Fi, Netflix. Like, you guys don't feel that. And so you want to make sure that wherever you're staying, especially if it's a newer Airbnb or if it's a newer recovery home that's a standalone facility, usually buildings, think about it, when you rent an apartment in a building, usually the building has its own things to keep its power on and whatever. But when you're in a house or when you're in mansions like what we have here, at least for my setup, I live in a very large home. Our recovery home is in a very large home. Standalone properties, what happens is that we have to install our own backup generators, and they're very expensive. Very, very expensive. And opening a recovery home is very expensive. Maintaining a recovery home is very expensive. And so sometimes people open without it and hope to get it shortly and then don't ever get around to getting it. But you won't know that until you're here and you don't have water, or until you're here and you don't have food. You know, those types of things. Or you don't have light, or you don't have, right, because they can't cook, or a million things. And it happens all the time. They keep telling me I need to turn my sanctuary into the refuge, because we pick up so many girls who end up at bad recovery homes. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna leave you. I wanted to make sure I came by and dropped you off some information. The next video that we're gonna be doing, or the next two videos that I have on deck to be doing, the first one is gonna be about what to pack. I'm gonna go through all the supplies and show you what you need to be packing in your supply bag for surgery, what's necessary, what's unnecessary, what's extra, how to get around some of it. And then the second thing I'm gonna be doing is a video about staying the correct amount of days. You guys stress me out. I give you guys quotes, 15 days, 17 days. I'm not telling you to stay here because I want to see your face 17 days. I'm telling you because if you get on a plane, your incisions are going to open. things that these people don't tell you. So make sure that you tune in for the next videos. I'm gonna go blow my nose and take care of myself. I'm sick. I'm gonna go back to sleep. It's literally like 2 something in the morning. But yeah, thank you for tuning in with me as always. If you guys are enjoying the channel, please share it on your social media platforms. Please share it in your social media groups for surgery. Make sure that you like and subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure that you stay tuned with all of us. Here at Sirena, I'm going to be bringing in some other people. We've got our Cali Connect coming in pretty soon, so I'm excited about that in a few days, actually. So we've got a lot happening, so just stay tuned with us. I can't wait to tell you everything else. And I'm hoping to see you here. So what's going on? Let me know. Even if you're out here just to visit, we've got all kinds of stuff going on, and I would love to meet you. Okay? Have a good night.